Right. Everything is counterintuitive. Everything is the opposite. Typical situation, kid goes ahead, gets angry, so angry and frustrated that he starts to break an iPad or he starts to break things. Normal reaction is, excuse me, stop doing what you're doing, stifle the kid, control the kid, and then what happens? Do they say, oh, okay. Oh, stop doing what I'm doing? All right, thanks for letting me know. I didn't know that I shouldn't be breaking something. I had no idea. I grew up in the train station. I had no idea. Oh, I'm not supposed to break the glass? Oh, okay, I'm fine. No, they get angry-er. Get angry-er, so what do? We get angry-er. So then all of a sudden the tension goes up. You better not throw that thing. If you throw that thing, and then you start jumping in front of stuff, carrying stuff. What happens to the tension? More, until, God forbid, okay, one of the families that came to me in the beginning, the father told me, 2:30 in the morning, the whole family's waking up to blaring music in the kitchen. The kid came home 2:30 in the morning, turned on the music all the way high, right, blasting music, woke up and he has a whole family of a bunch of kids. What do you do? So let's learn what he did so we can learn what not to do. He, typical parent, went running down in his pajamas or his boxers or whatever it was, went running down and he says, you better shut the thing like that. Problem. He went to shut the thing. You would expect the kid to let you, but kids who are trying to make a point and angry and rebellious, you got to know your kid, right? Okay? He blocked him. So now they're wrestling in a kitchen where there's utensils. This can get very bad. This can get very ugly. You could push him. He could hurt himself. So the kid blocked him. So the father went down to the basement and shut the electricity. He won. No. The kid went ahead and locked the door, locked his father in the basement and blocked it with stuff. He won. So you see what's happening here? Okay, so then the father went ahead and is banging on the door and whatever and gets all the kid and he's cursing him and he's angry and whatever. So the kid went ahead and took deodorant, sprayed it by the fire alarm. So now the smoke detectors went up and now the fire alarm, the whole house is up. The whole night is ruined, and he is the most horrible person in the world, this kid. That's the upside, that he feels like a piece of garbage. I know the kid. I met him. He ended up coming to Home Sweet Home. I never had a problem with him. Today he's Shomer Torah Mitzvahs, from not violent at all. Turns out, right, that he was hurting, and the parents did not know, right, what happened to him, which this is the whole misunderstanding of all of our kids here. But they also didn't deal with it in a way that they would ever be able to find out, be able to do things that are positive. So what you did is godless. The opposite. The kid gets angry, and you say to him, listen, if you need to do this, to break this thing right now, right, you should. What? Yeah. You look really super frustrated, and I understand if you can't control yourself and you're going to smash this telephone, $1,000 or whatever it is, or like we all know from Shimon Russell with the China plates, right? I'm with you. First of all, let's understand, I never ask you to lose anything. That stuff that they were going to break, they were going to break anyway. It's already gone. You could already call the insurance and start buying that, because the other way for sure they were going to break it, and more. So I'm not asking you to risk anything. I'm asking you to be plugging the kid with an understanding, which is going to be good for now or it's going to be good for the future. If you need to do it, I understand. And that's what I did. I did this intuitively, by accident, in Home Sweet Home. One of the big guys there, I always tell the story, because he was sitting next to me in a car, and he's a huge guy, very muscular, and he's like, I'm so frustrated, I got to punch somebody. So I said, okay, I'm the only one in the car. I said, all right, fine, punch me. So he looks at me and goes, what? So I took off my glasses. I said, try for here, try not to hit me in the face. Mamish what I did. Okay, listen, I knew that he wasn't going to punch me in the face. I had a hunch, you know what I'm saying? I'm not that stupid. But it was a risk because he was out of control. And he went ahead and he didn't punch me. But I told him, you can. And we had holes in Home Sweet Home, and guys would apologize to me when they calmed down. I'm so sorry, I put a hole in the wall. I would say, I don't care about the wall. I care about you. Does that make them want to punch a hole again? That's the whole yesod over here. People think they're evil, they're bad. If you don't teach them not to put a hole in the wall, they're going to every day put a hole in the wall. No, they're your children. You taught them well. They grew up in your home. They just have pain in their brain. And let's say this is physical. Imagine, God forbid, a kid has so much physical pain that he loses himself and he takes a hammer and he smashes something. You're going to go over to a kid with cancer and start yelling at him? You're going to think that all of a sudden he has bad midos? You're going to think, oh, I got to teach him a lesson, otherwise every day he's going to break something. No, you're going to say, Shefala, I'm so sorry. Oh, Shefala, it's okay, it's going to be fine. And you'll hold him, and he'll say, no, I'm so sorry, I broke your glass. Don't worry about the glass. It's not about, I don't care about the glass. I care about you. So while he was losing his temper, and again, I'm not saying this as theory, okay? Practical. Over 300 families, a lot of the kids were violent, or could be violent, and B'li Ayin Hara, we have never called Shomrim. No domestic violence. We take care of our kids ourselves. We don't need anybody else. How? Because of what you're doing. You have a kid who gets angry. You have a kid who has violence. Mitzvah Hashem is going to have a refuah in 6 months and a year. It's going to be healthy. But what do? This is what you do. You tell him, don't worry about it. If you ever need to break anything in this house and you can't control yourself, don't worry about it. Now let's think about it deeply. They really can't control themselves. They're not destructive people. So if they need to do that, what do you care about? Your table? I just remember now parents that came to me that their kid was extremely violent. I would say one of the top 10 most violent kids that we ever had. And they had a glass table, and he smashed the table and broke it to pieces. If the parents would have been normal, the kid would not be today from. I don't know if he would be alive. Any normal parents would have thrown him out. There would have been Hatzal and Shem. You know what I'm talking about? Right? Right? I was at the Chasana. So the bottom line is that we're doing something that works. People say, don't give in to the terrorist. Yeah, if your child's name is Muhammad, and he's a terrorist, and he's walking around with a bunch of explosives around, you're right. They're not terrorists. These are your kids. You remember them at 5, at 6, at 8, at 10? Something happened over here. You tell them. If you ever need to break something, if you ever need to, you feel that, do it. And they should do it. Now, the counterintuitive part that's so practical is they stop doing it. So the other way, you get nothing. Because they get angry or in anger. The event, instead of taking an hour, takes a month or 2 or 3, and there's police, there's shomrim, there's hatzalah, it traumatizes all the other kids, and you're screaming and you're yelling and you accomplish nothing. Because they still do it, and then they're further from you, and then they do it again and again and again and again. The cycle of violence has to stop with you. Not with the kids, with the parents. And we have successfully been able to, B'li Ayin Hara, stop the cycle of violence. How? By doing things what you did. It's a very deep, deep, deep psychological medicine that you put into them. I don't care about the table. I don't care about my phone. I don't care about the computer. I don't care about the television. If you are so inside in your brain, you have so much frustration and pain, that's what you need to do, I trust you 100%. Go ahead, do it. That causes them to become healthier because they feel understood. They break less stuff. So if you don't want to do it for your kid, do it for your stuff. Badaku manusa. Everybody has to figure out, even if your kid is not violent, it's the same thing with different words. Think about your situation and think about it. What can I do to show him I care more about you than blank, my neighbors, the shchenim, right? Rabbi Zohar said, we don't care about the shchenim, we care about shechina, right? I care about them than my wallet, than my money. It's using this idea in different ways. So even if you think, oh, what does it do? My kid's not violent. They're frustrated, they're angry, they don't feel you trust them. Look for ways to do that. We have kids who stab the wall, right? And we want to tell them, don't stab the wall. Hello, I don't care about your wall, I care about your kid's brain. Different message and different solutions.